Season 8 is well underway, and with the new runes we are seeing a lot of interesting picks. The solo queue ladder is still very volatile in every single region, with people getting, losing, and reclaiming the rank 1 spot over and over again. It is not very surprising to see junglers at the top of this list. They are the biggest influence on the map and are in a very easy position to single-handedly carry games. The most common types of jungle mains that you see high up in the solo queue ladder are usually gank-focused junglers like Nidalee mains. But one jungler has claimed the rank 1 spot playing a champion that is not really considered aggressive whatsoever. And that's Ivern. Ivern is generally considered nothing more than a spammy shield bot for the rest of his team. How is an Ivern main supposed to climb fast, let alone climb all the way to rank 1? This is Doink Machine 96. He's currently rank 1 in North America right now as a Ivern jungle main. How did Doink Machine get rank 1 playing Ivern? Is Ivern secretly overpowered and none of us just knew about it? And Doink Machine knows it, but he's just taking advantage of this? Have Ivern mains been secretly going on a freelo streak in the last few months? No, not really. Doink Machine is actually the only Ivern main in Challenger. He's actually the only Ivern main to actually get past Diamond 1. This includes Europe, North America, and even Korea. What does Doink Machine do so differently that allows him to climb so effectively? There are 3 main factors to Doink Machine's success. The first factor is his jungle pathing. Jungle pathing is one of the most important things to a jungler's success. How you path decides how fast you farm, what lanes you're going to be ganking, and how safe you are or how dangerous you are to the enemy jungler. One thing that Ivern players always like to do is they like to do an early invade. And it makes a lot of sense on Ivern. Thanks to Ivern's passive, it's really easy to just use Q, hop over a wall, and steal the enemy blue or red buff. It only takes a few seconds and all he has to do is get his passive down and hit smite. This is a strategy that most Ivern players like to employ into their strategy. However, Doink Machine almost never invades on Ivern. His jungle path is the same throughout almost every single one of his games. He sets his passive down on Wraiths, then red, goes to his blue buff, takes blue buff with smite, goes to Gromp, then Wolves, walks back to red and Wraiths, clears those out, walks back to Wolves and Gromp, clears those out, then takes Scuttlecrab and smites it for the secure. He clears 6 jungle camps and is level 4 at around 3 minutes and 10 seconds. Why is this so significant? The reason this is so significant is because other Ivern mains often use a different path. It's a cheesy path that tries to steal their first buff. They put their passive on Wraiths and red, same as Doink Machine, but then they usually head over to the enemy first buff. They want to steal this buff with their smite. Here's the problem. If anyone on the enemy team is familiar with how Ivern works and what Ivern seeks to do, all it takes is one person to completely deny the Ivern invade. Look at what this guy does. This is the highest rated Ivern main on the Korean server. He's played 3 times as many games as Doink Machine has in this new season. When he invades, he's already stepped over a ward. That's because the enemy team is expecting an invade from an Ivern. When he shows up to try and steal the blue buff, Janna aggroes blue to make sure that Ivern is unable to get his passive down. Sivir comes in and is ready to hit Ivern. He realizes this and he's forced to flash. The enemy bot lane hasn't committed anything to this other than just showing up for blue buff. Meanwhile, Xin Zhao knows that Ivern has wasted his time, and so he is able to freely just go ahead and take Ivern's blue buff. And since Xin Zhao is stronger than Ivern in a 1v1, Ivern can't even enter his topside jungle now. He is forced again and again to try and take his blue buff, otherwise he'll run and he can't really clear that many camps. Meanwhile, Xin Zhao is able to take his blue, he's able to take his Gromp, his Wolves. Ivern's jungle is completely decimated at this point. Because Ivern players try so often and so hard to just constantly steal stuff, they fall behind. Doink Machine doesn't take risks in his early jungle path. He takes advantage of Ivern's good, solid early game clear, doesn't do anything fancy with it, just clears his camps in the most efficient way possible, and starts to help his laners early on. And that is the second thing he does differently, is his ganks. Surprisingly, most Ivern players actually don't gank early on. Most Ivern players are so invested in stealing that first buff, they don't have time and they don't have resources to be able to gank early. Most Ivern players actually don't gank until they hit around level 5. Doink Machine often makes the first gank, even though Ivern players generally don't do so. AFK farm junglers are becoming less and less prevalent. Junglers need to be proactive on the map. It's fine to farm, but it's more important to gank. But how do you gank on a champion as bad as Ivern? Ivern doesn't have fantastic gap closers or easy to hit CC or amazing burst damage like other junglers such as Nidalee or Rek'Sai. So how do you become effective when you gank on Ivern? Here's Doink Machine's most common gank path. Although it's not his only gank path, it is the one that seems to succeed for him the most. After he hits level 4, he gets into this pocket of mid lane. He puts down one brush here with his W, and then he puts down a second brush and continues to gank mid. What is the big deal about putting a second brush? I mean, he wasted so much time for that second brush to come back up. Why didn't he just walk into mid lane? To fully understand why Ivern didn't just walk into mid lane, we have to look at it from Azir's vision perspective. The way that Ivern's brush mechanic works is that you cannot actually see these brushes being put down or the full coverage of what this brush looks like unless you have full vision of the area that this brush is covering. So here's what it looks like from Azir's perspective. He doesn't even see the first brush being put down, and he only sees the very tip of the second brush. High elo players are extremely good at dodging skill shots. And though Ivern's Q is a very good CC skill shot, it is very slow and pretty hard to hit. By the time a player's brain registers, oh, that's not a bush, that's an Ivern, it's already too late and he's hit his primary CC ability. Doink Machine is basically solid snaking this shit in order to gank mid lane. Though it's not guaranteed that he gets kills in these lanes, as long as you're putting pressure on these lanes, you are being useful as a jungler. And this is expressed through his kill participation. Doink Machine's average kill participation is around 70%, while other Ivern players usually average around 50%. This shows that Doink Machine is constantly being proactive, constantly being on the right place at the right time on the map, and always being there for fights when they need him. He will make diving plays on Ivern similar to that of high damage junglers such as Nidalee or Rek'Sai. But hiding in bushes doesn't work on everyone now, does it? You can't do it for bot lane and you can't do it for top lane, obviously. So how does he impact those lanes? Ivern doesn't have good burst and he doesn't have easy to hit hard CC. But what he does have is shields. Ivern's shield is one of the most annoying shields in all of League of Legends. So what he often does instead is he'll use his teammates as bait. He will let the enemies assume that his laners are just being retarded and they're walking up ready to die. When in actuality, he's waiting in the wings, waiting in a brush, ready to shield them and ready to punish them for overextending. When you're ganking on Ivern, always make sure to put brushes on yourself so that you can get the extra range and the extra magic damage that comes from your auto attacks. The third thing that Doink Machine does differently is his build. This is what most Ivern players take in their rune page. Summon Airy with Water Walking and Celerity. A lot of movement speed and a little bit more damage for their build. This is what Doink Machine takes. He takes Glacial Augment so that he can easily hit his Q. He takes Stopwatch for easier dives. He does not get the Boots Mastery because he needs to buy mobility boots early on. He also gets Futures Market to buy a faster Dark Seal, and goes into the Resolve tree so that he can get the extra shielding from Revitalize. Mobility Boots is an item commonly bought on a lot of high elo junglers. Koreans often refer to it as a gamble, that if you don't know what you're doing, you're gonna be punished for buying such a stupid item. Most Ivern players opt to go into Lucidity Boots. The extra CDR helps them with their shielding and with everything that they do. But in 100% of Doink Machine's games, he always goes Mobility Boots no matter what. Either if he's behind or ahead, he always purchases Mobility Boots. Now, if you don't have good map awareness and you can't keep an eye on multiple lanes at a time, Mobility Boots isn't really going to help you that much more than just buying regular Lucidity Boots. Even if a fight has begun way before Doink Machine can get anywhere near it, he can still be there for the tail end of the fight, and sometimes he's greatly rewarded for doing so. Mobility Boots is widely considered to be a huge risk. But if you want to be effective on Ivern, you need good map awareness and you do need mobility boots. The first major item that Doink Machine almost always rushes is Redemption. Ivern does not need his jungle item. Many supports don't even buy Redemption as their first item anymore. So why would you buy it as your first item as a jungle Ivern? The reason is because you're in the jungle. Since Doink Machine is Ivern and he's moving around and clearing jungle really fast, and since he also has those mobility boots as his first purchase, he can still move into range for a redemption. You can easily get there in time to turn a fight into your own laner's advantage. What Doink Machine purchases next is simply based on situation. Some popular pickups: Locket of the Iron Solari, Ardent Censer, Knight's Vow, Athene's Unholy Grail, Mikhail's Crucible, Zeke's Convergence. All of these items are support items. That's what Ivern really is. He's a secondary support. It's not about doing damage, it's not about auto-attacking more, and it's not about having 5,000 HP shields. Other Ivern players will sometimes even buy ability power to make their shields look bigger. That is not necessary for Ivern. Simply stay alive, stay safe, keep shielding your carry, and don't feed to win. Thanks for watching. Please like, subscribe, and share this video. You can watch more YouTube videos on my YouTube channel right here, and you can join my Discord server at discord.gg/donghua. That's it. Bye.